this will be my first interview in a long time since I started working at my new job. So this is I am Chris Gardner of the Houston Roundball Review, and with me is no stranger to chatting with me, but it's been a while since I've seen her and spoken with her, and I'm speaking with Lindsay Edmonds, the head coach of Rice women's basketball. First off, it's good to see you, and how are you?
It's good to see you as well. Thank you for having me. I'm doing great. Summer's been a lot of fun. My daughters and my team have kept me very, very busy, but I wouldn't have it any other way. So it's been an awesome, amazing summer, and almost time to hit the ground running with school starting back up for Rice next Monday. No, not next Monday, the following Monday.
Okay, I have not been. Did not go to a lot of games last season because of changes and things of that sort, but I kept up with the team. So I want to get your thoughts on great wins, long winning streak, but did not
Yeah.
end in a berth in the NCAA championship. So how do you grade, or how do you think of when you look back at last season? How do you describe it to yourself?
It was incredible. It really was. It was a remarkable season. I knew that we could be good. I didn't know how good we could be. 23 games in a row, 29 wins in the season, both program, records of all time for Rice. There's so many incredible moments that, you can sit back on and you can remember. Was I disappointed that we lost the championship game? Absolutely. Was I disappointed that the selection committee didn't see us, worthy of an at-large bid? Absolutely. But still, when I look back on the year and all the wins that we had and winning a regular season championship the way that we did, it was such an incredible season. But we do feel like we left something on the table. And we know that we have something that we have to try to reach for, and we want to try to get really, really bad this year, and that is getting back into the NCAA tournament. So we all know it was incredible, but we all have something that we are still yearning for and still wanting for and still working for, and I like that we have that motivation.
After the committee did not select you guys for an at-large berth, did you contact anyone on the committee for feedback or their rationale of why they didn't choose Rice?
Yeah, I mean, they said it was a lack of strength of schedule in non-conference, which, our net was in the 60s, and there's I think we were 64th, and there's that many teams that are getting into the NCAA tournament. So, there was a couple of losses that hurt us, and I think one was in November, so that it was a 1 point game too, and so I definitely have lost sleep over that multiple times. But overall, ultimately the committee is not seeing American in its current state as a multi-bid league, and we got to do everything we can in our power to change that. And I think everybody has to pick up their game and pick up their strength of schedule and who we're playing. It hurt us too that we had some really great programs on our team, on our roster in the non-conference that had off years for them, and that didn't help us as well. And that's something that's really, really hard to determine, and it's something that's really hard to know. So there was some historical very good teams that win their conference that unfortunately didn't win their conference last year, and that didn't help us the way we thought it was going to.
Based on that feedback and based on what you learned, what changes, or did you make changes to the non-conference schedule for this coming season?
Yeah, we had already had our non-conference done for quite some time. So the one thing that we are doing this year is there's an MTE that's being done with the American A10, Missouri Valley, and Ivy League, where the top two teams of each of those leagues are getting into an MTE. And so that should be two very quality games for us. I'm hoping that it will be two quality games for us. We still have Princeton on our schedule. We still have UNLV on our schedule. And we also have the rivalry with Houston on our schedule as well too. So we feel like we have some good games on our schedule. We just got to make sure we take care of business and win those, 4 or 5 games that we feel like are the heavier hitters on our non-conference.
Have you spoken with people, administration in the American conference level about, hey, we need the rest of our schools in the conference to lift up, rising tide, that kind of thing? Have you had conversations on that level?
Yeah, we talked about it at great length at our spring meetings with the American, and we were all challenged really hard to elevate what we're doing with administration support, but also from non-conference scheduling to winning games to rev share to all the things. And so there's definitely a lot of things that we need to do on our part to get us back to the multi-bid league. The change in the net hurt American as well too. Anything 95 and below at home is considered a quad 4 game. And so with the exception, I believe, of us and South Florida and maybe East Carolina, everybody else was considered a quad 4 game in our league at home. So that didn't help us at all. So that hurts too. The net change really hurt the American because, before you're talking quad 4s or like, I don't know if I can even remember now, but 200s, right?
I remember.
And now we're talking 95s or quad 4s. Like that's hard. So that definitely has changed the dynamic of the American, but we now have to go through a process to get our non-conference schedules approved by the American, which we didn't have to do that before. It was like, here's a guideline of some like types of games we want you guys to play, but now we do have to like have approval with our non-conference. So maybe that can change up a little bit as well too.
Okay. I was under misperception then because I knew about the guidelines and things of that sort. I thought it was part of the approval as well. That if the conference did not, all right, well. So do you take that as a positive step going forward for you, for Rice, and the conference overall for women's hoops?
I hope so. I think our commissioner is really behind women's sports and really behind women's basketball in particular, and he wants to see us get back to a multi-big league. So I think he's willing to do whatever it takes. I think he's willing to push the presidents and push the ADs to give women's basketball the support that they all deserve. But we as coaches did say, like, there's a lot of fear right now with most coaches because they don't know what their rosters are going to look like from year to year. So challenging yourselves in the non-conference when you don't know what your team is going to look like is something that's scary for a lot of coaches. We have been very fortunate with not having a lot of turnover and not having to completely rebuild our roster every year. So we have a good feeling of what our roster is going to look like from year to year. So, we're ramping it up this year with the MTE. That's going to be really good. And next year, Coach Nick and I have already started working on our schedule, and it's going to be even more challenging that from everything that we've learned, what the areas we need to pick our games up at. So we feel better about, this season and next season with our knowledge of what we need in case we are to slip up and lose a championship game, how we can maybe get in.